Salam, Malikum Ma'ashawut, Nama Usara, and salutations to all. I am Mojag Gray, your host on this Nama Summer Solstice Open Call on Saturday, 21 June 2025. Our moderator for the event today is Benu Bahure. Now, I will begin with the recitation of our pledge. Begin all acts, breathing and thinking by San Kalum, all by way of the infinity flame of the dwellers enthroned in a flower of fire, by way of a universal traveler, space, dweller emperor, space, Samhu, a mini ray, quote, a Delo Yi, end quote, Zen Uru, space, smiley face. The pledge of the Imperial and Imperial royal flags for the Imperial CMYE-IRK Republic, for the country of United States, small s, space. As I stand beneath our sacred Imperial and Imperial royal flags, I vow loyalty and obedience as I watch them fly to the imperial laws of our Imperial and Imperial Constitution that governs our Imperial and Imperial Royal Empire. To this cause, I hold my head up high. With honor, I pledge to protect and defend all within the Imperial and Imperial Royal Kingdom, both family and friend, to ensure that all have their equal rights. To this cause, I will lay down my very life as I stand beneath our sacred Imperial and Imperial Royal and national flags. I vow loyalty, sincerity, and integrity with zeal as I will, so mote it be. Chant the enchantment, and it is done. Chant the enchantment, and it is done. Chant the enchantment, and it is done. Ashe, so be it. So it is. It definitely shall be. Quote, Zen, Uru, and power we shall have. End quote. Thank you. Ish, colon, smiley face, know thyself, smiley face. On behalf of the Imperial CMYE-IRK Republic for the country of United States, small s, space, quote, the oldest independent autonomous Atachan nation / kingdom on earth, end quote. We welcome and thank you all for joining us for our Nama Summer Solstice Open Call as we celebrate this 22-year anniversary for our sovereign state of 20 June 2003. We commemorate not only a date, but a cosmic realignment and geopolitical resurrection of ancestral authority. This anniversary carries deep metaphysical, historical, and sovereign weight. And the continuum of the Imperial CMYE-IRK Republic, in parentheses, ECMYE-IRKR, and the Imperial Royal Office for His Imperial Majesty, in parentheses, all caps, IROHEM. NAMA 22-year anniversary, sovereign anniversary proclamation. 20 June 2003 20 June 2025. Historical anchor, space. What happened on 20 June 2003? On 20 June 2003, the state of Georgia, in parentheses, major, issued apostille verification number 5604, capital B, authenticating sovereign identity and alignment with the Yamasee Mir nationality, in parentheses, YM, declared on 13 June 2003, and the Washistaw Mir nationality, in parentheses, WM, declared on 9 May 2003. This moment, space, bullet, reaffirmed lawful status under indigenous, diplomatic, and international law. Next bullet, activated ancestral title through imperial motu proprio, secured by emperor's directives. Next bullet, reposition the United States and Morocco, in parentheses, small u, capital SA, under autonomous and sovereign law of the land via treaty and inheritance. This was not merely a notarial act, it was a juridical resurrection of sovereign claim to governance over ancestral lands, pre-dating the alt caps U.S. Constitution. Also, on this sacred day, we honored the 22-year anniversary of 20 June 2003, the legal, spiritual, and celestial rebirth of our sovereign state, as affirmed by apostille verification number 5604 capital B through the state of Georgia, in parentheses major, for the Yamasee / Yamushi Mir and Washita / Washita Mir nations. This date marks the resurrection of ancient sovereign jurisdiction under the Imperial CMYE-IRK Republic, in parentheses, all cap, ECMYE-IRKR, in harmony with the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, Treaties of Uptrip, and the ancient flame of the Washita Mir, Yamashi Mir More, Amoru, and Almoracan nations. The Imperial Royal Office for His Imperial Majesty, in parentheses, all caps, IRO-HEM, continues to implement this cosmic and civil governance, now 22 years in force, through decrees, seals, and missions acknowledged globally. This 22-year anniversary symbolizes the restoration of flame, the establishment of divine governance, and the expansion of jurisdictional rooted in law, spirit, and legacy. Let it be known throughout the earth and among all nations, space, that the crown of the Ordish Yamashi stands, that the flame of Samhu, Samson-Ray, /Samhu, a mini-Ray, burns eternal, that the earth remembers her sovereign children. We commemorate this milestone with joy, reverence, and divine purpose. Issued this 20th day of June, solar year 2025, an eternal flame and sovereign peace. Salam, Malikum Ma'at Shawut, Ish. The significance for all caps, ECMYE-IRKR, in parentheses, Imperial CMYE-IRK Republic. The ECMYE-IRKR, all caps, today stands as the living sovereign expression of that very act rooted in space. Bullet, allodial title inheritance of the Ordish-Yamushi peoples. Next bullet, recognition of Treaty of Peace and Friendship, in parentheses, 1786-1787, and Treaties of Uptrip, in parentheses, 1713. Next bullet, enforcement of equity under the Imperial Constitution, in parentheses, 2013-2014, and Directive 0004Z, in parentheses A. 20 June 20th, 2003 to June 20th, 2025, parentheses, 22 years, marks a double decade plus two of bullet legal and spiritual authority reclaim. Next bullet, imperial sovereignty reasserted. Third bullet, transition from private identity to public nation-state reactivation. The number 22 symbolizes mastery, alignment, and governmental completion, aligning perfectly with this year's summer solstice, energies and planetary synchronicity of rebirth and revelation. Significant for all caps, IRO-HEM, and parentheses, Imperial Royal Office for His Imperial Majesty. The all caps IRO-HEM operates as the central axis of imperial and imperial jurisdiction. As of today, it, first bullet, continues to implement sovereign diplomatic affairs through registered missions and royal seals. Next bullet, uphold autonomous law that transcend colonial impositions. Next bullet, functions under the cosmic civil title of Dweller Emperor, reaffirmed via notice of appointment, notices of accession, and the Great Seal's proclamation. June 20, 2003 is remembered as the spiritual coronation before the visible crown, while 2025 marks the time when that the crown governs, not just symbolizes. Ceremonial affirmation, colon space. Why this matters. First bullet. For non-nationals, small n, colon space, you are not, quote, recognized, end quote, by permission, but by proclamation and action. Next bullet. For diplomats, colon space, this anniversary validates the jurisdictional standing of the all caps ECMYE-IRKR and global legal forums, including the United Nations and UPU. Next bullet. For the Earth, colon space. It marks 22 years of regenerative light, reconnecting land, people, and spirit through the imperial flame. Closing reflection. Quote, on this day, 21 June, we do not just remember a document, we rekindle a flame, the same flame ignited in the blood of our ancestors at Washistaw-Turner, reborn through the pen of the emperor, and now carried by the walking sovereigns of Nama. End quote. All caps, IRO, HEM scroll, Mission Codex 22. We, the Nama Earth Dash Keepers, continually and joyfully celebrate in harmony with our month of Cancer / jellyfish / the moonflower plant, giving gratitude to his dash imperial dash majesty and all Nama nationals, small n, for their fervent dedication in rebuilding, shaping, and solidifying our sovereign republic. During this Nama summer solstice open call, there will be brief pauses to allow for questions and answers. Therefore, we ask that you adhere to the following house rules, colon space, first bullet. We ask that you keep your mics muted, videos off, and your comments, concerns, questions, or accolades reserved until the designated time to do so. Next bullet. For those logged into Zoom prior to speaking, we ask that you use the raise hand feature and wait for the host or moderator to call for your appellation, in parentheses, name. Next bullet. Please state your appellation, in parentheses, name clearly before asking your question. Next bullet. Please limit your question to a maximum of 2 to allow time for others to present. Next bullet. We ask that you speak clearly and respectfully when addressing his dash imperial dash majesty. And lastly, please focus on the subject at hand. Note, if you choose to put your questions in the chat, please be clear and concise. We thank you in advance for your cooperation and participation. All right, Ab, if you can proceed to the slide 4 for the incarnation of Samhu. Quote, the oldest independent autonomous that's attaching kingdom / nation on earth, end quote. The incarnation of Samhu on Ta dash Mother Earth as his dash imperial dash majesty, colon space, in parentheses, all caps, H.E.M. colon, decrees and grants limited delegated authority to all nominational small n, 9 dash executive directors, in parentheses, NEDs, and 9 dash directors, parentheses, NDs, who are skilled and qualified to operate this sovereign state jurisdiction. The purpose is to implement and advance the modalities of commerce and culture. Variations for the properly formed and operational Republican state. Pursuant to the Imperial CMYE-IRK Republic for the country of United States, small s, Droit. Today, we showcase some of the miracles of all caps H.E.M. As we revisit
the third anniversary for the quote opening of the gates of hell. 2022 end quote. Sit back and enjoy the ride. Eesh. Explanation point three
Eesh.
times. You have you out there, you all right? You got caught there, right?
Yeah, yeah, you appreciate you. Need to grab me some water real fast. Okay, I will yield the floor to the moderator to get some questions from the Royal Bio.
Salam alaikum, Ma'ashawuf. I'm your moderator, Benu Bahure. And we do have some questions that we were able to put together from our diplomatic corps team. We're doing something a little different. If the audience has questions, anyone listening, you can put them in the chat. I'll gladly read them. If you would like to ask your questions yourself, you're more than willing to. But we're going to give y'all some questions and some answers so we can give you an idea of where we are and where we're growing towards. So let me see if we have any in the chat to start with on our Royal Bio. We don't have any as of right yet. Anything on YouTube?
Nothing on YouTube as of now.
Yeah, nothing on YouTube.
Okay.
All right, are we gonna read the bio and then get the questions, or we gonna get the questions and then read the bio? Which way we rolling with this?
Yeah,
All
we
right,
can
we,
go
we
ahead.
can we can read it first.
All right, cool. And we do got a question in there. Shajar asked the question.
Okay. All right. So we have, you got it, host?
I'll go for it if you are addressing his question first.
No, we can go ahead and read it first. We can say, I'll read the
Okay.
question first.
All right, starting from the top right with the flags, with the banner, we got the absolute royal sovereign. We got the absolute royal sovereigns, emperors, imperial and imperial, the royal flag. Next to that, we have the imperial royal office for his dash imperial dash majesties for the imperial CMYE dash IRK republic gray flag. To the left, we have the Mir dash Moore 48 star of peace, full faith, and sovereign gold dash credit gray flag. And to the left of that, we have the Imperial CMYE IRK Republic for the country of United States States, small s, national flag with a small n. All right. The Imperial Royal House of Tunica Thunderfire and the Imperial Royal House of Samson Samurai. Herewith ordained by decree and declare active and end quote force the Imperial Royal Office for His Imperial Majesty, dated 22 January 2024, / notices of accession, the all caps, IROHEM and all caps, ECMYE-IRKR, / all caps, IMYRS, file numbers, / NOARAD / 2024 801 NOAVCLT -802 NOACRTAP -803 NOAC -804. Effective date 13 June 2024. Quote, retroactive to Imperial and Imperial executive missions. Effective date 3 December 2023 to 31 August 2023 / notice of appointment in parentheses amendment and Imperial CMYE-IRK Republic for the country of United States small s. Effective date 28 June 2023 to effective date 8 January 2023. in parentheses, imperial and imperial dash royal diplomatic decree. 2, effective date 21 June 2022, in parentheses, royal public notice and royal press release to the world. 2, effective date 18 March 2022, in parentheses, imperial dash motu proprio / official royal decree dash public notice to the world, end quote. In harmony with the BIA decree dash equity contracts, space, Emperor's directives dash 0004ZA / Imperial Constitution for the Imperial Royal Kingdom, in parentheses, ECIRK, via Emperor's Directive dash 0004Z, effective date 4 April 2014, per 3 April 2013, / Imperial Constitution of the Continental Ordish Yamushi Empire, in parentheses, ICCMYE, space, to Emperor's Directive dash 0003Z, space, notification of diplomatic arrival, notice of apostille, and official dash act of state, effective date 9 April 2009, to Emperor's Directive dash 0001, in parentheses, all caps, ECMYE, small u, capital SA, / all caps, USA, space, effective date 18 July 2007 to effective date 4 March 2004, / claim dash of dash the dash life, in parentheses, CL, to effective date 11 February 2004, / all caps, United States of America, the State Department, in parentheses, minor, dash apostille verification numbers, space, 04010010 and 04010010-1, space, to the ages of the Treaty of Berne and Constitution of the Universal Postal Union, effective date 30 September 2003, quote, retroactive to 9 October 1874, end quote, space, 2, effective date 20 June 2003, / the state of Georgia, in parentheses, major, dash apostille verification number, space, 5604, capital B, all caps, USA, space, to effective date 13 June 2003, in parentheses, Yamasee Mir nationality dash YM, space, to effective date 9 May 2003, in parentheses, Washistaw Mir nationality dash YM, space, pursuant to the quote, sovereign state, end quote, Yamasee Native American government via Mount Arafat Embassy dash UN, space, 208 dash 1992, small u, capital SA, / all caps, USA, effective date 19 June 2003, in harmony with the quote, sovereign state, end quote, United Washistaw deduct Amunya dash UN, all caps, space, 215 dash 1993, small u, capital SA, / all caps, USA, effective date 20 March 2003, space, to effective date 28 January 1837, / Treaty of September 16, 1836, space, pursuant to the Constitution for the small United States of America, small u, capital SA, effective date 17 September 1787, space, to the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, effective date 18 July 1787, quote, retroactive to 23 June 1786, end quote, space, to the Treaty of Utrecht, effective year 1713, space, to the beginning of recorded history, / R dash story, as recorded in the stones at Washistaw dash Washistaw, just off the Yucatan Peninsula, via the Sovereign Imperial Royal Empire, and into the future and perpetuity ad infinitum, droit dash droit, eesh, colon space, smiley face, nunc pro tunc. Then we have the nunc pro tunc and hieroglyphics and Yamashik. Imperial Royal Office for His Dash Imperial Dash Majesty presents His Dash Imperial and Imperial Dash Majesty colon space Emperor colon space Samhu Amini Dash Ray quote Adelo Yi end quote Khufu Dash Ranub Dash Zorak Samson Dash L Protector 8th Marquise Dimasan Rule Thunderfire / King Louis the 20th Sovereign all caps Crown Prince colon space Darius Zorak Royal Divine Blood and Yamashik. Hereafter, all caps, H.E.M. colon space, Emperor, colon space, Samhu, a mini dash Ray, quote, Adelo Yi, end quote, smiley face. Ipso jure, ipso facto, inter regnum, de jure allodium, Ju soli, Ju and us hereditatis, Ju and us gladi, Ju and us dash honorum, Ju and us dash imperi, Ju and us dash majestis, and solo proprio for the country of United Space dash States small s / Imperial Moorish Al-Moroccan in parentheses a Mexim Empire via his Imperial Majesty Royal Post pursuant to the Continental Orders Yamashi Empire dash Imperial Royal Kingdom. Henceforth, the Imperial CMYE-IRK Republic for the country of United Space dash States small s in parentheses ECMYE-IRKR all caps head of state and missions for the Imperial Royal Office for His dash Imperial dash Majesty all caps and parentheses IROHEM, exercising plenary civil power upon the land, small u capital SA, per the General United States of America / Republican form of government known as the United States of America in parentheses major, including dash supreme small s authority, imperial and imperial dash land rights, imperial equity and heritage rights, imperial and imperial dash territorial sovereignty, imperial treaty rights, capital T, imperial and imperial dash constitutional rights, dominion, autonomy, autonomy rights, allodium estate rights, imperial white privileges, venue, amity, commerce, navigation, imperial small treaty rights, / capital treaty rights, full faith and sovereign gold dash credit, Westphalian sovereignty, foreign sovereign immunities, jurisdictional immunities of the state, diplomatic immunities, and all constructive agreements / claims and matters relating to the colon space Imperial CMYE-IRK Republic for the country of United Space States small s internal, local, and international affairs for the Imperial and Imperial Royal Crown executive powers via the Imperial Royal Office for His Imperial Majesty effective date 13 June 2024 per notice of accession for the all caps IROHEM and ECMYE-IRKR / IMYRS file numbers NOA NOARAD / 2024-8001 NOA VCLT -802 NOA ACRTAP -803 NOA AC-804 dated 22 January 2024 to Imperial and Imperial Executive Missions dated 30 July 2024 effective date 3 December 2023 to notification of appointment in parentheses amendment effective date 31 August 2023 quote retroactive to Imperial and Imperial Royal Diplomatic Decree effective date 8 January 2023 to effective date 21 June 2022, in parentheses, royal public notice and royal press release to the world. To effective date, 18 March 2022, in parentheses, Imperial-motu proprio / official royal decree / public notice to the world, end quote. Pursuant to the be it decree - equity contracts, Emperor's Directive -0004ZA / ECIRK, via Emperor's Directive -004Z, effective dates 4 April 2014 per 3 April 2013 / ICCMYE : to Emperor's Directive -0003Z / notification of diplomatic arrival, notice of apostille, and act of state. Effective date 9 April 2009 : to Emperor's Directive -0001Z / all caps CMYE, effective date 18 July 2007 to effective date 4 March 2004 / CL to effective date 11 February 2004 United States of America State Department : to effective date 20 June 2003 the State of Georgia, all caps USA : to effective date 13 June 2003 Yamasee Mir nationality : to effective date 9 May 2003 in parentheses Washistaw Mir nationality : to effective date 28 January 1837 / Treaty of September 16, 1836, in harmony with, quote, the Constitution for the small U United States of America, small U capital SA, effective date 17 September 1787, per trusteeship office of the Moorish Grand Vizier Chair for the ancient empire Al Morocco, effective dates 4 March 1789, all caps USA, and 18 July 1787, small U capital SA, pursuant to Treaty, capital T / Ancient Empire of Mexam, in parentheses, Al Morocco, effective date 23 June 1787, to treaties of Uptrip, effective year
1786. Effective
correction.
date 23 June.
Correction. Effective date 23 June 1786, to treaties of Uptrip, effective year 1713, to effective year 789 / more Mir, end quote. To the beginning of recorded history / r story, as recorded in the stones at Washistaw off the Yucatan Peninsula via the Sovereign Imperial Royal Empire, and into the future and perpetuity ad infinitum droid. Eesh. : and now I will yield to the moderator, Benu,
You got to read the
for
bottom down here. Royal
question.
bio for his Imperial Majesty.
Oh, excuse me. Royal bio for his - Imperial and Imperial Royal. Excuse me. Royal bio for his - Imperial and Imperial - Majesty : Emperor : Samhu Amini - Ray, quote, Adelo Yi, end quote. Updated 30 July 2024 at 1723.
Eesh. That's gonna have to. I see some. I got to update this one. As the office come out, as open my office. But good read. All right. So for the world and the people listening, 90% of the world don't know how to ask questions. So you read this, and they say, why do the emperor need a vowel? Or what's the purpose of a vowel? So now the diplomatic corps put together some questions for y'all and answers so you can understand how to ask the question to get the answer and the explanation so we can move forward and you can see the real status of a sovereign state and a sovereign emperor. All right, so who we got? Come on up, let's do it.
All right. So first question we have in the chat. This is from Nanya Shujare, and he asked, "What made Samhu incarnate on Earth, and is Earth special?"
Oh boy, you want to go ahead? He gonna make this the whole night. Oh, well, only thing I can say right now, Shajar, name Shajar, is that I haven't fully gathered to that whole system of why. I just know I appeared, came through Shirley, Rose Prison / Sampson, and Joe Louis Sampson out of Sampson County. Now I had people watching me as I grew up all the time. I always said I had, some of y'all see some of the miracles that happened through this journey. But why did I come? Well, it had to be a time set for me to appear, because when I was dealing with the covenant, the spell that was did back in 1983, 84, they said, well, he came back and put his own spell on him. So that made that journey, my journey, go way back past even the cult, the witches, warlocks, and all that stuff. So, even in Chief Black Eagle, I mean, his meeting me, and we talking. When he first met me, and I told him about the dweller up here on my flag up here, the coat of arms right here. I told him about how he looked when he appeared to me, and he said, "Where I come from, I got 100 million years, 100 million times what he said he came with, which was 900. What do you say he had? What do you say he had?
76 trillion years.
76 trillion million years of knowledge." And he said, where he come from, he got 100 million times that. So that journey is, you came down, you had to set your foundation. You came through the post, you came through everything, you learned. And then when they came after you, that lit that fire. And you was able to create your own state, get it authenticated. And now you're recognized around the world as a sovereign emperor. So that had to be something that was planned to do, to come in. And what all the stories they tell you about some God named Jesus and some God named Allah and all this stuff they've been putting in your head for all them years. I mean, they wrote that stuff. They wrote that. They can't prove none of it. And people believe that, they got faith in it, they say, but there ain't no salvation, none of it. They'll come to them all. Jesus don't show up, Muhammad don't show up, Allah don't show up, God don't show up, none of them niggas show up. So it's just figuring your imagination. So for me to come here, we going through another zone, and we coming into the new Aquarian age to carry to, so this where we going. So to set my seed up like I got where I come from, I had to come down and raise up amongst you, live amongst you, grow with you, go through the pain, whatever, toothache, headache, cramps, muscle pains, all that, basketball playing, everything, to raise yourself up. But I've been able to do things that it's just not written in the books. I've been able to do things in this life so far that even they say the precious Jesus can't do, or how couldn't do. So and so it's still fulfilling itself, so y'all. So we just at this stage of emerging on the world scene, coming to my seat, like I said 2-3 years ago, it's our 3rd year anniversary. And we figured out it went, and everything dropped on our plate. And so you growing with me, y'all growing with me. So, you understand certain things a different way now, so the purpose is because we're going into another zone that it ain't worth talking about right now, because I got a job to do. And I got my elders. I came and inherited 580 million in mortar fire beings. I came and opened up the gates of hell. Said our affirmations on live TV across the pond in Scotland, and opened up the gates. Free my grandma's soul, and in doing that, I met the master fire deity that nobody talks about. Nobody talks about this guy. They talk about the devil, Shaitan, Lucifer, all that. They never talk about this boy. And so, and you get 580 million, and then he ends up getting your 580 million on your Earth Day. You know, so he just, and so like now, you see the 22 years. 22 is still a lot of things that happen around the number 22. And you see all that's gonna manifest around me and this journey. So going forward, a lot of that stuff gonna manifest and become known. But right now, it's just we're at this stage, and this Bible, like I said, been out since 2023, and folk out there still don't fully understand. You feel me? They ask questions about it. So now you got the proclamations out, posts out. They just don't understand the authority we got or inherited, or we created and inherited and brought down with me. So remember, I haven't even got into the INRI yet. That ain't even on. That haven't even been. We ain't got that zone yet, but that's in the process of where we getting ready to go now. So I'll leave it at that. All right, that enough?
Copy and thank you. Yeah.
All right. Any more questions in the chat or on YouTube?
I thought there were two in there.
Let me see.
Oh, the other part of that question was, is Earth special?
Oh, right.
Is Earth special? In reality, it's a prison planet. You're in a prison planet. Your belief system is all effed up. The way of life is all effed up. The belief system is all effed up. They form cliques and orders, and on this zone. So you got fraternities that all these people swear to. You know, the Greek fraternities and African American, and then you got the Caucasian people who feel like God look like them, and so they feel like they inherit certain privileges, which I don't know where the hell they get that from. Because the sun can kill you. How you supposed to expect it? You got people claiming to be Jews who ain't got no bloodline in your bloodline, and they fighting wars on your land, trying to hide the truth of your existence. And they've been doing that 100 years, 200, 400 years. So now you just at the head right now. So they're gonna fight a nuclear war, so be it. You know, we here now, and like I said before, the beings that come with me ain't no joke. Their time is limited. They already know. So it's already written that it's gonna come down to that head, but everybody's scared because they want a new car, a new house, a new girlfriend, or some more bullshit. That don't mean nothing right now because you're a peasant to the planet. You got 8 billion plus people breathing, and you ain't got no food to feed everybody. You got the elites who don't built tunnels and everything, so they want to survive their bloodline, and everybody else don't mean nothing. So the whole system is screwed. So when the old head said, "Death follow me," so in my mind, everybody did because they got to die. They can't pass that. I'm the only one got that to that level, and I only got that when I opened up the gates of hell when I let the master out. So that was part of that gift that come with that prophecy. So they said some guy named Jesus supposed to come. He got the keys. Okay, well we know who got the keys now. But so that whole story that they wrote about this boy named Jesus and Mahdi, it's all based on their conception of religion. Ain't got nothing to do with the facts. And so now I come down and walk and do everything they say these cats supposed to do and more. But yeah, they still waiting on these boys to return. And there's no return. So when you die, you're done. You get blanked. You come back around, but that cycle ends now because we're going into the Aquarian age. So you heard me put a spell on the whole world for 3 million a day, deaths a day based on them denying the royal bloodline. So they still fight, you see. So we've been talking about this since, remember, Russia invaded Ukraine. How many days after I opened up the gates of hell? Go count them.
22.
That's right. So, and that war's still going on. Now you got American Israel, which, like I said before, that boy there, Israel, he's American. He's not no damn Israel, Shiite. He's American. He went to school here, he did everything. He switched his citizenship and run for office. Dual citizenship. So, it's just hiding your land. So they still want to do the same thing they've been doing, colonialism. But they don't realize we're in a new day and time now. So they can wipe themselves out, or they can live and be amongst each other and as nations, or not. It's just a lot of people get ready to die. So you gotta get used to that. That's just what it is. All these people, all these agents out here, they got these badges on, that's doing all this crime because they got a president who took an oath of office, and they feel like that oath of office is going to save them from hell. Or they act like that oath of office that you take as the president of the United States can save you, or there's some kind of guarantee, way to heaven, because you took an oath of office to be the president of the United States. Bullshit. You see how some of them die? You see, go back, check the record. And then you go look at the Pope, who tell you in the civil order, Pope Francis tell you civil order, every damn president since Abraham Lincoln has been a fraud. So that made the current one is a fraud. Obama is a fraud. All the black folk want to think he's your savior. Bush, all of them. Biden, all of them are fraud. The Pope tell you, I ain't tell you, go read what the Pope said. All right, the land is under the American States citizen, the American States. The corporation is what running now. They got that big clique going on. Y'all see what happens when you build these type of cliques with the courts, with the post office, with the executive office. Y'all see the clique? And you see what it leads up to. What you got now. All a lie. So I'm here now. So they can't say they can't say they didn't know I was here. They can't say whatever. Because like I said, the fire, I ain't never tell nobody I was nice. They say it that way. You feel me?
Right.
I put up with it because everything is set for a time. But you see it closer I get to my seat, you see the sun acting up here, the earth acting up. You see spaceships coming in from places you ain't never heard of. Everybody coming to what? Welcome me back to my seat.
Right.
So whatever that test was, so y'all, that I had to go through, because this is my first time around. You know what I'm saying? So ain't no way I done been here a couple times. No, this is my first time around. And so, I came up, like I said, through the womb, got broom, program, all that food school they teach you in America. Ain't no food school. They don't teach you how to be nothing. They got people, you got all these religious people, Christian, Muslim, they teaching the university and the colleges. And what they teaching? Their philosophy. Have they got them anything? No. Where the salvation at? You feel me?
Right.
So, they ain't got none. See, they got all this hope. And I don't think at the end of that road, hope is there. See? Right. So you come along, you got a light at the end of the road, because you shot your arrow, and I went through. But it ain't who they want. It ain't who they, don't look the way they look, and all that kind of bullshit, see? But it doesn't matter to me, because I'm coming to my seat, and I know where I come from. So 90% of these folks don't exist. So when I say you're going to burn out, I say 26,000 years to burn that madness out of you, that's now y'all understand from what I said 3 years ago, right? See how bad that shit is? You get discriminated every day in this country over here. So you gotta constantly accept that bullshit. And it ain't no salvation in nothing. But look, the madness, it's gonna keep going into what? You get tired of it. Right. When I get tired of it, you know me, I put a curse out there and shut every damn thing down.
Burn it up.
So I'm just being nice right now. Don't let me go curse or make a fire curse. You know what I'm saying? To burn your ass out of existence.
Right.
But we're going to keep moving. I'm doing my best to be nice. But they want to keep playing with the fire. So, and you see what happens, they keep playing with the fire. You keep getting hotter and hotter.
What's the saying?
Makes sense to you?
F around and find out, right? Appreciate
All
it.
right,
Yeah,
all right, we good?
yes.
All right, come on, Benu.
All right. And we got another question from one of our other namas, Nanya IMAC. But before I say it, before I read it, I'll say, Emperor, when you say you coming to your seat, we came up with something the other day. Nanya Shajal mentioned it, and we all agreed. You're actually at your seat, but now you're getting ready to sit down.
Facts. Facts.
Yeah, I remember y'all too. Yeah, I remember
You
that.
got your robe, you with the two hands, poof.
Ready to sit down, huh?
That's it. Got to sit down.
Well, you don't have all cameras on when I get ready to sit down there, right?
Hey.
Lights on.
All right, come on, why I'm at that?
All right. He had IMAC. Would you like to read it, or would you like me to read it?
Yeah, right now I got a little background noise.
Okay, I
Yes,
got you. I got you. He asks, what is meant by retroactive to the moment of creation?
Cut my light. That's where I come from. I came from the moment of creation. I mean, I'm a dweller. Like the old man said, he got 100 million times what he got. So if he said he got 76 trillion million years of knowledge, that came from Murdoch, which is the son of Enki, who had all the M's. You feel me? And so, and he said, y'all got 100 million years past that, and they got a record of being here at least 500,000 years now. So you see how far back I go. So you say back to the beginning, guess where I go? Where my light go? All the way back. You feel me? Maybe I'm at.
yes, protector.
All right, cool. That's where you came from too, Mr. John.
Same way. That's why I asked
That's a bomb you just dropped right there, yo. That's a heavy bomb on the world, yo. A moment of creation, the source, yo. Like you got the saying in my crew, yo. Examine the core of your own existence. So people need to do that shit.
You know, when you realize that, remember the cross appeared. Remember they said 40 million waiting on who when the cross going to appear, who's going to appear too. And they know it appeared to me. So that's the bloodline. So they had to looking for the bloodline. They got all these video, YouTube search for DNA of Jesus. Well, you looking at him. Wait a minute. Let me show my picture. You're looking at him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I got the bloodline. You know me, I ain't fighting it. I had to live with it. I got to live it. Ain't nothing to fight about. I live it every day. Look at everybody. And you know, walking small with a big stick because they looking for some image that don't exist. They painted them an image that don't exist. So I hope that image saved that black ass because my fire ain't no joke. And so they give you all these stories, what's gonna happen in hell, what's gonna happen in the end, all that stuff. They got all these damn stories, all about Egypt. They can't come and write my story for me. They didn't come from my fire. They came from a lesser fire. You feel me? And that's why they thought that was the only fire until I showed up. They didn't have no clue there was more fire than what they seen. That's why you see all these cats lose parts of their bodies, be joining these like fire orders. You feel me? Because they're looking for that. They want to be a part of what? The royal domain. Or the Elohim, as they say. You feel me? Or the Anunnaki make you feel good. Whichever name makes you feel good.
Right.
Don't make me no different. You feel me?
Right.
All right, so we good? Come on, let's kick it.
Yeah.
All right. Nanya IMAC has one more. He has, how does H. E. M. Or CAP function as a diplomatic and constitutional monarch?
How function? Well, that's what we're doing right now. You setting the tables. And that's like say you with our diplomatic corps, SoFlo, she's with the understanding you got to get with the document that's already been written. So you got folk out there attempting to say they got an organization or something that want to compete with us. So we move in a state, not an organization or a club or a damn church or some fraternity. You feel me? We run a sovereign state. So that itself is you becoming what I'm doing. So I'm moving the way they bring it to me. The United States had an obligation, and the state of Georgia, to the full faith and credit to come in and assist us in developing the state, but they refused because they realized they gave us more authority than they had. So they got mad, and they still mad. So, you see the little situation we had with Albania where they jumped in to slow that down. You feel me? Because they mad. Because now the word is out. So now they got to explain themselves. So now the proclamation, Imperial Post proclamation is out. Well, now they got to prove their damn sovereignty, which they can't. So they're a democracy. They ain't no damn sovereign. You got a constitution that ain't got no equity. And within that constitution, they got themselves a president, a Supreme Court, and a Congress who they say hold the purse. Well, under that system since 1871, well, that system don't have no equity, so they make the citizens, whether you like it or not, they make you pay taxes to them. But if you go back and look at the Constitution, it's for corporation. It ain't for we the people. You got people stand there and say, we the people, but go check it out. It's really for corporation. Because you can't be a people without a sovereign state. The United States is not a sovereign state. So you're not real in the eyes of law or international law. You signed on to be a corporation, all cap name. Now you got more out there saying they're gonna change their name, all that stuff. That's a lot. That's folly to me. They ain't been able to do nothing. They ain't been able to do nothing for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. And they ain't gonna be able to do nothing because they going about it the wrong way. It's like a dog chasing his own tail. We came along and did it our way. It's upset everybody. They were like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. We showed we did it. And so that's why we got our own sovereign state. You feel me? So if you got a state, you got a constitution, they say. They got a Constitution of the United States of America, right? All right, then where the $100 million in gold at then? Where the equity? See? Then the question people need to be asking. Okay, then so if you got a Constitution in 1789, it was based on $100 million in gold that was lent to the revolutionaries they call now. We know it's terrorists, but anyway, revolutionary who fought the Revolutionary War against the boy over there in England, what was his name? George VI, I believe. All right, so where that money at? Where that wealth at? Because they got citizens paying their bills, and they got 36 trillion in debt, and they can't even pay their bills. They do all kind of fraudulent documents called securities and force people to buy securities, for protection of the United States. Protection from what? They don't protect you from death, because all them niggas die around the world constantly. So what the United States is offering type of protection? Military protection? Well, that only can go but so far. And it's all because they want to control other people's energy so that they can benefit and everything else. But you see all that stuff coming to a head now. 36 trillion in debt, y'all ain't wait the fuck up. I mean, you know me. Well, you have to curse him because I felt like it. Anyway, come on. Who else? What else we got?
Any questions on YouTube? All right, if no questions on YouTube, I'm going to go to what the Diplomatic Corps put together. And we have explanations along with it. This first question we have, Nanya, IMAC, it seems to like it would coincide with the question that you had, that second question. So the question is, what legitimizes, my bad, Sam Hu, Amini-Ray, as the imperial constitutional monarch? The answer is, his appointment is rooted in autochthonous right, divine lineage, and lawful record via Emperor's Directive -0004 capital Z / ICCMYE all cap. This constitutes plenary power over territory and law. And I'm gonna get to the explanation right now. Emperor, at any time you want to chime in and set us straight.
All right, I'm with you. You know me.
All
But
right.
what she said, you got to realize when she said Empress Direct 004Z, they talking about ICCMYE, which is Imperial Constitution of the Continental British Empire that was written in 213 and got recognized worldwide April the 4th, 214. Okay. So when she said that, that itself establishes what your answer was.
She said his appointment is rooted in autochthonous right, divine lineage, and lawful record via Emperor's Record -0004Z.
See, because you created what? A living constitution.
Right.
You got a living constitution that's got equity attached to it. See? That everybody else got a dead constitution. They don't have a living constitution. They got a dead constitution. Help you out a little bit.
It does.
It kind of helped everybody out, right?
It does, because they say democracy under one breath, and then they say our Republican government under another breath. And it's like,
well, they don't have a Republican government. They got a democracy. Right. They have a Republican Party, but they have no form of fashion of Republican government. They got a democracy. It's two different. That's the word game. Right. They've been playing for years. So now, so you see the word game? The word games created what? What they got in the White House now, you see? Seriously.
Right.
The same word came, whether the Democrats were doing it or whether the Republican Party was doing it over the last 20 years. Because I've been on scene 22 years. I've been behind the scenes knocking doors down with a baseball bat like Fred Flintstone. You remember Bam Bam?
Right.
You know, the big old bat. I've been knocking heads behind the scenes for the last 22 years, and everybody don't know. Best kept secret. Changing policy, American policy, foreign policy. I've been changing a lot behind the scenes. Come on, man. For the Security Council and the UN and the Secretary General and the General Assembly to recognize you as His Majesty, they know you got a sovereign venue.
Yep.
Already on record. So all the other cats out here trying to get on record, you already on record. And they can't find no record. They ain't nobody unless we sign them in, they ain't got time to deal with it. But so that's just how they're selling folly. Having conferences and all this, the more this and that, they ain't got a right to do nothing. That's just them cats that's rigging them people to get money because they ain't got no system to do that. Why have they done in the last 30 years? Nothing. They ain't brought no government, they ain't brought nothing. But challenges to the birth record of they are more and in the courts and all that crap. They need some religion. Call themselves Muslim, they don't know what the fuck that means.
Right.
And then you got the Muslims who say, at least they say they ones of peace. Well, that's why they say, but you see what's going on in with Middle Eastern right now. So that ones of peace is out the window. Then you got those over here in America, they said Muslim, they ain't gave that shit no definition. So whatever they is, okay, what they seeking Allah? Because in one breath, they say they want to run the red flag green star, which belong to the Kingdom of Morocco, internationally known. So if it belongs to the Kingdom of Morocco, okay, then so why you ain't got no contract with the Kingdom of Morocco to be flying their flag? See, so they said, no, we can do this because no, but you rather did this, all that bullshit. Okay. Well, in 1920s, France did have their name on the Moroccan flag. Drew Ali, which is the 5th Marquis de Masson Rouge, and when she accepted his bloodline, well, he had the right to fly that flag like it was because he was out of the de Masson Rouge bloodline, royalty.
Mm-hmm.
But when you let them take them out, stepped up to the plate. So you can't continue to fly that flag because he never systematized nothing. He got a charter in Cook County, Illinois, that created the Moore Science Temple. With that folly teaching they got, ain't just another religious domain, format. It ain't saved nobody. Hell, it didn't save Drew. So I'm going to teach something and say the master teacher brought the shit. You feel me?
Right.
Oh, I lie at nowhere.
Because that's where they keep linking it to, Cook County.
Well, that's where it's filed at in Cook County.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So they got all of them, whether the Great Seal Mull, all them mulls out there with the new flag and all that shit they got out there on the market and all that crap they selling on Facebook. All of it attached back to who? All of it attached back to the Moore Science Temple.
Moore Science Temple.
All of it. They ain't no more Muslim than you is. They gonna mess around here. What's getting ready to happen since we got our paperwork out there on the market? What's getting ready to happen the next couple months? Is that ICE gonna stop picking them niggas up?
Ooh.
Yeah, I call them niggas. That's what it is. The niggas mean ignorant. Go look up in the Webster. All right. Now, if you say the nigga means that, you know, they going back to race and it goes before that, okay, we take that part. But the ignorant part, we can leave that to the folk that out here pretending that they got some type of contract or some sovereign or waiting on somebody, you know, somebody to come save them from their damn self. Look at the Sabian. They still waiting on Chief Black Eagle to say that dumbass. Chief Black Eagle said he on my ship. But they don't want to believe him, but they worship him, but they don't want to believe him. So we'll show them down the road. Because they can't get on the ship. See? So you see what I'm saying? So it's just out there on the market. You know, look at all the people going to church tomorrow for this guy named Jesus. You know, they ain't got no remedy. It's got hope. And hope, you know, ain't got no damn strategy, right?
No strategy. Nope.
So what else we got here?
All right, so
because
we have.
I look at, you know me, I watch everything. And I listen to people, and they have some good conversations sometimes, you know? And you see them on TikTok and all that stuff, posts and stuff. But at the end of the day, what's the last word they say? Thank you, Jesus. If without Jesus, I couldn't do nothing. Well, Jesus, Muhammad, you feel me? I'm like, you know, you were sounding good until you got to that part. Now, you didn't want to listen to that guy come out of their mouth.
Nope. X.
Well, they're saying,
Next. You feel me?
He was saying on the platforms like TikTok or somewhere like that, where they, you know, talk a good game until the end of their little segment.
They got to have that J in there. Like they gotta have a J in there, you feel me?
Got to. All right, Emperor. So we have our explanation that we came up with to this question. All right, so our explanation we came up with was Samuel Mini-Ray's legitimacy is established through divine orientation, autochthonous descent, and a continuum of lawful acts, such as Emperor's Directive -0004Z and the ICCMYE all cap Constitution 2013. These instruments, including multiple recorded proclamations and apostille verifications, establish him as sovereign by right of inheritance, possessing imperi, in parentheses, sovereign authority, and plenary power across the imperial CMYE-IRK Republic and broader continental jurisdiction.
And that's true. So you got to look at the authority that she's saying, or SoFlo is saying to the diplomatic corps, as y'all stepping out being ambassadors. She's saying, with that authority from the Constitution, see how that authority came from the Constitution?
Mm-hmm.
You see, so look what came from your Constitution, all that wealth and that inheritance, right? All right, then, so where the United States at then? Where can they go trace their Constitution that they claim that they got everybody in control of America, and they claim they got constitutional power to give out oath of offices to have a POTUS position, a Secretary of State position, and say they're the world power? Okay, then where is their Constitution? They got a military world power, which, you know, the military signed us in.
Mm-hmm.
So and they know they represent what? American States citizens. They only agree to the suits as long as they're by through the Constitution. And now this board is taking it off the Constitution, so you're going down a whirlwind now. You feel me? So come on.
All right.
Or how deep there? How far down the rabbit hole you going? Right.
Right. All right. We have a couple more questions in the chat. We have one from Nanyakridu, and he says this is coming from Doranki in YouTube. H.E.M. Why is it important to have an awareness of geopolitical events as they arise, and how are these events relevant to your emergence?
Because I'm coming to my seat. It's going to be a war. You know, America got an announcement to the world. You got a sovereign emperor in America, and then you got a president of a democracy. The emperor on the land, president on no damn land. So you gotta be you're a state. So you're a state. You got to be included with everything in the state. You got security. You got top secret, over top secret. You know, in our field, you feel me, dealing with the aliens, you know, cosmic brothers that we know exist, and I got contact with. Feel me? So we stay in contact with everything because we know we're coming to our seat. So we have to be aware of everything going on. A lot of stuff in America, we don't bother with it because it has nothing to do with us. That's something dealing with the American citizens who that's who own them. And whether they understand their contract or not makes no difference to the courts, because they already swore oath to represent that as a corporation. See, so you're a corporation. So we live beings walking on our land. So we have to be a observer of everything as we in the very near future start talking to the governors of the states within our jurisdiction that's on our property. So we have to, you know, and that's just grooming. And to teach you how to be a diplomat and then teach you how to be ambassador or top secretariat to move your state with the authority that comes on our royal seal. And so you can talk to anybody. So we got to be observant on everything. And you got to know yourself. That's why these questions that we done elevated up to help the NAMAs get better understanding of what's happening on the world scene. So when they step out and talk to foreign officials and diplomacy, and you're also learning what? You're also learning that these cats out here that claim to be so damn smart in diplomacy ain't as smart as you think they is, right?
Right. Facts.
So that answer that question?
Does that answer your question, Duranki? All right. So until he gets back with that, we have another question from one of our Nins, Nin Rawa.
His answer came back as yes, man.
Okay. All right. Gratitude. She says also seems to be a monarchical selection for presidency rather than a voting system.
Oh, all that stuff been bought out since the beginning. I mean, you don't realize this. That's why we don't pay no attention. That mockery they got as voting is just to find out how many people they got in the system that they can count for. As far as them, the vote count, if they ain't got a paper vote count, all that stuff is rigged.
Right.
Outside of a paper vote count, you can rig any kind of machine. So now you know why you want an election, right? And why they want to get away from paper count. So you got that's the only right they got. I mean, it's sad, but the only right they gave them under that contract that they got with the birthright contract, the only right they got is what? Voting rights. They say, no, we got civil rights. Well, they go look up civil rights. Civil rights for what? A building, something dead. So they out here knocking doors down, claiming they got civil rights. That's for a corporation then.
Right.
What happened to your human rights? You got a declaration on human rights at the United Nations, right? So you got indigenous rights, Declaration of Indigenous Rights for indigenous people of the world, right? All right then. Your contract says you all cap name, that makes you a corporation. You have no rights. Civil rights, you're like a chair. So you see, so that's how dumbfound the whole American system is set up. That's why the Pope tell you his civil order to Obama back in 214. He said what? He tell you the whole truth. They created what they call another citizen in 1871, right? Because the citizen before that with the Constitution was who? We the people.
Right.
Starting getting now?
Right. The Republic.
After 1871, what happened? Ain't no more we the people, it's we the corporation. That's why what? All the tax breaks go to the corporations. They come and say, we'll give you $1,500 off your birth certificate or your Social Security trust, right? But then they come and give the corporation $100 million. So why couldn't they just come and give everybody, since you're a corporation, give everybody $1 million? And they, well, the debt, 36 trillion. What the fuck you gonna do? Keep going up any damn way. You might well let some folk have a little fun. You feel me? If they want, $1 million, what's $1 million? They come give you $1,500, you shout for joy because you can run to Walmart and get a damn TV. Fuck out of here. Anyway.
Ouch.
You go to the project, dog, you got the most 50-inch TV you ever seen. You feel me? Ain't got near room with a library. They got a damn 50-inch TV screen or whatever.
Right. And that's funny because I see that happen. They run right.
You see it all the time. Fat ass ride with good rims and all that, gold teeth and all that shit. You feel me?
Right in
Don't
the
have
pocket.
a clue. Don't have a clue what's going on. Thank God I believe in Jesus. Okay. All right, come on. What you got?
All right, so we have question 2. If there's no more questions on YouTube, I don't see any more in the chat. And so, question 2. How is use in re propria applied in the bio? Answer. It affirms sovereign control over one's domain and estate without dependence on another's authority. Used here to assert original jurisdiction over imperial and imperial lands.
And when you say original jurisdiction, they're going by the Saints of El-Bey. That's going all by 1713. If you're going all by to 1513 with the Yamasee, that's assert your jurisdiction of Yamasee with the Y-E-M-A-S-S-E-E, not Yamoshi. Because Yamasee means you are Native American. Yamoshi, we say American natives. You feel me?
Right.
I mean, we were before the Native Americans. You feel me? So, and then you talk about Washistaw, they dug the Maya. They dug the Maya. They dug the mounts for Yah. They dug the Maya. So that's the oldest indigenous tribe in the world. So that's under your bound. That's 215, 1993. Empress Veriasi got that done back in the 1990s. You feel me? When she got that 68,000 acres back. See, so she couldn't get no royalty. Why? Because she had to get it from the United States. Spain gave her back the deeds to attach itself back to the Demosan rules, but the United States had to come do what? Give her full faith and credit. You know damn well they were going to do it. So we came along there and when we signed them in as a state. I tell you, when we got the Yamasee state, Washington we created our own state. We never do that shit again though, but anyway. That's what happened way back in the 205. You feel me? 201 when we signed that treaty. We signed that treaty, 203, March 20 March 203. We signed a treaty with Washistaw. Remember, we signed that with IRK embassy. And the United Washistaw deducted the monument. That was the Crown Prince, El-Bey. So he been the Crown Prince because the Empress Veriasi was in a coma. So he was the Crown Prince. So he had the authority to write in a sovereign state. So you can only sign the treaty, you got land. So the embassy got land and the Washistaw got land. So the only 2 tribes in America that the United States don't have nothing over or no control over or no signatures to verify their claim is the Yamasee and the Washistaw. That's on record. That's a fact, Jack. Now we got both of them under their own sovereign state. So you pick up that inheritance all the way back, and they never can show, the United States can't show they got a legal, lawful, administrative claim over anything dealing with Yamasee or Washistaw. They dug them on you. You feel me? All right, they help you out a little bit?
It did. I do have a question. You said when we signed that contract with the Yamasee, with the Washistaw, that was when? March what?
That was 20 March 203. We signed a treaty.
Okay, so that was after nationality.
No, that was before nationality.
Or
I
nationality?
was already nationalized with the embassy. It's Kufu Renew Z Sanfanel.
Okay.
I got that. I got mine going back 202.
I
I
got you.
just never pulled that one out. But then when I got the embassy MER, I created my own tribe
Mm-hmm.
by way of Chief Black Eagle and Chief de facto down in Georgia, Chief Black Hawk. Down in Georgia, they nationalized me as Kufu Renew Z Sanfanel, the embassy MER. So I created my own tribe. I created my own tribe. You ain't never heard nobody Yamasi Mirror. You had Washistaw Mirror,
Right.
but I created Yamasi Mirror on that nationality.
Mm-hmm.
It's all proof. You feel me? So that's succeeded. That overcome the ones 202, 203, all them nationality.
Mm-hmm.
That suppressed all them nationality. So that 13 June 203 nationality, that brought you into your own venue. Then you had your own venue with the Washistaw. So when I created CMYE in 207, 18 July 207, I created a country. You feel me? With that authority because of what? Washistaw Nation, Yamasee Nation. I created a whole country. Then, because we had the government already, Yamasee Native American government. We had the embassy already, the Ville-Miami African Embassy. We didn't have a country though. You see?
Mm-hmm.
So Chief Black Eagle supposed to came in and systematized the state. He put the Constitution on the state, okay, which made it organic. You feel me? And then he chastised everybody else, the family, Latif and him. And because he, evidently, he wasn't aware that there were 4 families on that contract. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
See? So you see all the secrecy and lies that them cats was out there following with, end up cutting themselves out of the whole damn contract. You feel me?
Right.
So now you see me come along and reassert the Constitution. Then you see me come along in 213 and file it properly, send it to the proper officials. It had to sit for a year. You seen it sit for a year. And now you got the what? A living Constitution. That got equity and gold behind it. You can write off of it anytime you want. Just why you growing into where you're going, right?
Right.
You don't need permission to do it. You don't need a permission nobody to do nothing. You feel me?
Yeah.
And y'all know the Saturday today, so you know the colors are blue and white, right?
Blue and white.
Saturday color is blue and white. Sunday color is white. Friday color is red and white. Red.
Wow. I just saw
Today is blue and white. You got white on, you good. I got blue on, we all right.
I got the blue under the shirt, so okay.
That's fine. You right on point there, ain't you?
All right. Gratitude, Mojang. I saw you highlight the bio. It is in there, and I was asking that question because I had to check my important dates to remember, and I don't have that one on there. I got to add that one on there, but it is in the bio. Gratitude. All right.
What y'all got for me?
All right. So the explanation that we got was use in re propria means a right in one's own property. It is used in the royal bio to assert that the emperor governs in his own estate without external dependency. This reinforces sovereign dominion over land, institutions, and governance under imperial and imperial law, backed by imperial decrees and land inheritance principles. You need me to read it again?
You know, you got people out there mind gone right now, so you know they don't understand this authority that I got. So you might have to read it again. Even that stuff Mojo said at first, remember?
Mm-hmm.
The first read, he was explaining stuff. That might have to be read again at the end. So could have some real heavy stuff he just read. You feel me?
Okay.
So go ahead. Come on.
All right. So the explanation to the question, how is use in re propria applied in the bio? The explanation is use in re propria means a right in one's own property. It is used in the royal bio to assert that the emperor governs in his own estate without external dependency. This reinforces sovereign dominion over land, institutions, and governance under imperial and imperial law, backed by imperial decrees, and land inheritance principles. All right. Nothing in the chat. Anything from YouTube?
Nothing from YouTube.
All right. Gratitude. All right. Question 3.
Salam alaikum, Mashawat.
Go ahead, Daniel.
Can I be heard?
You can be heard.
Yeah. Moderator, there was a question that was asked previously. I'm not too sure if you saw it, but Salam alaikum, Mashawat, Emperor. The question I have is, can you explain what is full faith and credit? Where does it come from, and what does it do? Can I be heard?
Yes, you can be heard.
Okay, cool.
You're on mute, Emperor.
You're on mute, Emperor, if you're speaking.
No, I'm good. What you got?
Okay, a question from Har that was in the chat. He says, Emperor, can you explain what is full faith and credit? Where does it come from, and what does it do?
Y'all want me to explain that, or y'all want to explain that? Need to explain it. Full faith and credit. All right.
Knew that one was coming.
So that's in diplomatic core. So, so all right, so John, I see Mike, come on up. Come on.
All right. So full faith and credit.
So you're gonna save them, right?
I guess I have to, right? Full faith and credit is the complete and timely satisfaction of all obligations, in this case, by a republic, sovereign state, right, which leads to unfettered, in our case, credit, in their case, borrowing, right? Which
Put it
is
this way: read our full faith and credit, and then read their full faith and credit.
yeah, you could do that as well. But in essence of it, right, it allows us, in this case, to be able to have unfettered credit, print our own money to pay our bills or whatever like that. It allows us to write any type of instruments we need to write. And the other part to that was, where did it come from? It came from the United States.
I'll help you out a little bit. All right, so and where did the United States get it from? Well, the United States got it from the original white privileges that was inherited through the Grand Vizier of the Moors. All right. So when you go back and check out Morocco, okay, the emperor, sovereign emperor, that authority that the sovereign emperor had is based on sovereignty, land rights. So the United States subjected the vizier chair and created POTUS, or the Office of the President of the United States, by the Postmaster General, where the Pope or the Vatican approved the white privileges of the Morocco from the emperor to be inserted into what they call the United States of America for March 1789, when he came out of the Continental Congress and said, what? We got a republic if we can keep it. So the white privileges that they inherited came from Morocco or the emperor. So from that white privileges, they was able to issue the full faith and credit clause, because now they had equity in the Constitution for the United Small U States of America, USA Small U, United States Society of America. All right. Once they flipped it to 1871 through the military, where they still held on the rights of the full faith and credit, even though they had lost all their treaty powers and everything that was inherited they got from the Pope or the Vatican, England, and France, when they knew the Moors was conquered, and they conquered the vizier chair. Remember, they had the emperor had a vizier chair, like president chair, we call it vizier, and they had sovereigns, and they had a recording service. Okay, so that's why you got 6 floors on the White House to this day that houses all the Moors record or the IRK. Okay. So I put my crown on a little bit, but I had a rough day today, so I ain't gonna take it rough. Just overwork myself working out. Forget I'm young and shit. You feel me?
Immortal.
Push myself a little far sometimes. And then so you look at the full faith and credit, you should be able to find it also a clause where they say they got borrowing power. See, we got credit. So your full faith and credit is different. But we got to create our own. So the full faith and credit clause that they use is, operate as a sovereign state, and for debt, we have credit on ours. So
right.
All right, so should y'all read the full faith and credit you're reading a while ago, just like it is? That you started off a while ago with.
My bad, I wasn't reading it. Full faith
You
and
thought
credit.
that was coming off the top of your head. You all
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Full faith and credit is
Okay.
the complete and timely satisfaction of all obligations by a country, which leads to unfettered borrowing and the printing of
Trading power.
and trading power, creation of money to pay their debts, and pledging complete trust. I think I left something out.
Right.
Yeah.
See, so I see Bakari Ray put an article. You can find it in what you got over here in chat.
Oh, you can find this. I think it's in our
That's from the executive mission.
mission. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in there.
The
He posted
footnote.
in there.
So,
But he said right here, and I think Bob put this in here. He said the full faith and credit clause found in Article 4, Section 1 of the U.S. Constitution requires each state to respect the public acts, records, and judicial proceedings of every other state. This means that states must generally honor the laws, official documents, and court decisions of other states. The clause ensures a degree of legal consistency and cooperation among states. So that's why you can't go in one state and do something and run to another state. You feel me?
right. That also,
Can't, huh?
no, I was gonna say that also goes to the apostolic authority. Where if you write something
Exactly. Can't no state sit in the seat of another state, right? Acts of state or yeah.
to wit. Yep.
Yeah, to wit, right.
And I have some more I can read to add on to it.
Come on.
All right. Full faith and credit is a legal, diplomatic, and constitutional principle that ensures the official acts, decrees, contracts, and records of the Imperial CMYE-IRK Republic are recognized as valid, enforceable, and sovereign both domestically and internationally. It originates from treaty law, international authentication protocols, and the organic Imperial Constitution, and functions as a guarantee of jurisdictional integrity, enforcing the sovereign authority of the emperor and his instruments across territorial boundaries. Explanation. Origin of full faith and credit. The phrase traces back to Article 4, Section 1 of the 1787 U.S. Constitution, which requires states to honor the public acts and records of other states. In the imperial context, it is invoked and transcended through the Imperial Constitution of the Continental Yamashi Empire, in parentheses ICCMYE, the Treaty of Bern, 1874, and the Universal Postal Union Charter, numerous apostille authentications from U.S. states, e.g., Georgia, Pennsylvania, Maryland, constructive agreements between imperial entities and state institutions. What does this mean for ECMYE-IRKR? For the Imperial CMYE-IRK Republic, full faith and credit establishes legal authority and sovereign recognition of its decrees, seals, credentials, treaties, and institutions. It ensures the international admissibility of Imperial Acts, e.g. through apostille number 04010010, Georgia number 5604B. Functions as a jurisdictional shield, protecting imperial law from foreign encroachment. Legal and diplomatic effect, it validates jurisdictional independence from U.S. federal and state frameworks, provides global recognition under international law, in parentheses, UPU, UN declarations, empowers the Imperial Royal Office, IROHEM, all cap, and imperial ministries to act with binding diplomatic weight, solidifies nominationals as protected entities with secured rights under sovereign law. When full faith and credit is applied, e.g. to sovereign bond, imperial decree, or diplomatic mission, it affirms the emperor's status as a recognized head of state. It guarantees that imperial documents carry legal force, whether at consulates, tribunals, or financial institutions. It ensures imperial actions are not voidable, and deniable by other parties once it is recognized. The statement on our own certificates, full faith and credit, quote unquote, it is acknowledgement of the state's certificate to the document and has sufficient legal value through state and federal levels for use in other countries and in this country. United States.
Right, it ain't levels, it's severals.
We thought that was a typo at one point.
Nah, but see, they made sure it's a typo. See, because in law, typos is granted, but the United States being de facto, they had to put a typo in there because they don't have real sovereignty.
Okay.
Also, it comes from the de jure side of things. If you go back and read the earlier documents, they use the S and the L at times, or S and another letter at times, interchangeably. So you got to keep that in the writings.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
You're welcome, man.
All right, so I got another question here from Ha. He's saying that what is the genesis of the document, Imperial Royal Post Great Seals Proclamation? That's on the ECMYE-IRK's website. Does it relate to what happened to you around 30 September 2003? It has 100%. And so what actually happened to you at that time? Well, on 30 September 2003, the post office came with a false arrest and tried to say that we was embezzling $280 million from the U.S. Post Service to restart the Nubian nation, which was the most bullshit you ever heard. What really happened was that they came out to me, kept coming out to me, EEOCs, and we were going back and forth to the point where we had to create our own damn state to fight these clowns. Other than that, you had to submit to the wheel. And so to this day, I got eight plus EEOCs that they can't win. So when we created the state, we informed the post office that Darius Tar Sampson, who they hired, is now owned by Khufu Ranu Z. Sampson L, quote, Thunderfire, end quote, and he got jurisdiction under two states, sovereign states, the Embassy Native American Government, Mount Airfake Embassy, and the Washistaw-Turner Monument. Okay? So we sent them an apostille, and let them inform them. So they responded, which they weren't supposed to. They responded to the secure party, me, the holder, the sovereign, and they said that Khufu, with Darius Tar Sampson, had to come to work at the USPS distribution center, Duluth, Georgia, and abide by the rules and regulations, which he was already doing. So, see, no problem. And so then they sent 200 managers down to Atlanta to find out who signed in two secure parties of their own state, which was me and Amun Raphael. And then they came with a false, well, okay, so in the $289 million lien that Amun had put on them, they tried to act like we was embezzling, but actually that was a lawful legal lien that Amun put on them based on a court case he won against the post office in 2000, 1999, 2000. So he put a lien on them for $289 million, which the labor relation manager up in Duluth, Georgia, what was his name? I told y'all, David Lamb. That was his damn name. David Lamb, look at the name. He was the head of human resources. So he hid all our files. He hid everything down in Georgia, but they didn't know we was also informing DC. That's how when Colin Powell went in to get the when he went in to authenticate the state, that's how my name was at the State Department, because I was already fighting the post office, and we were sending stuff up to DC, just like we were sending stuff down to Georgia. So once they seen that Amun gave me a $9 million lien, a tender. So I went to the Atlanta Postal Credit Union up in North Metro, and I deposited into collections. And for them to go collect my $9 million that was attached to that $289 million. So that made they had to pay that $9 million lien within what, 15 damn days. Because Amun activated that lien against them. And so when they seen they had to cash that out, they came with that false arrest, because they said they had to get a hold of it. So they came at us so hard that it scared anybody who wanted to go down that route again. Okay? Because they were trying to figure out who was Bonnie and Clyde. They said we learned how to rob the bank legal, lawfully, and administratively. You feel me? And so they came with that false arrest. All right, so from that, they paid the courts to prosecute us. And when they arrested us, they already had convicted us for 10 years. We already had 10 years. We ain't been to court yet. We ain't had a bond hearing. That case was already settled, because they had to get out of that contract by all means necessary. Because the post office was involved. So when I won that contract, y'all know what happened. Doors open and all kind of magic happened in the court. They got that on tape. They ain't gonna never show y'all. But I know the bar got a whole handful. So I won that case without an attorney, based on the full faith and credit that we had. So that's so within that time we were studying David Miller, and we call it quantum language, truth language. And David was, well, we went into court. When they came out to us on that case, with that fraudulent case, I told you, 30 September 2003, that false arrest, we transferred that case over to the federal district. So when we transferred that case over to federal district, we have 48-star flag in our paperwork going to the district court down in Atlanta, Spring Street. So one day when Miller got word up and the jurisdiction that we had, he got summons to the Rothschilds, England, and all them, because of the truth language was quantum physics, quantum language. And so it had to be a noun. But all the money, silver, gold, and all that is based in verb. So with David got them, with the money had to be pure, silver currency, which is all of them couldn't prove. England, France, Spain, Portugal, Australia, all of them, they couldn't prove their sovereignty as a true sovereign, because they have already, England too included, they already violated their own sovereignty by creating currency in a verb. So now they had to come out and show a true blood right linked to the land. So that's why we did a claim of life, because now you blood attached to the land, indigenous. So David taught us when we was coming through 0405 to copy claim all the flags that we did, 48, Washistaw, Yamasee, everything. United Washistaw, with the Constitution flag, the 6 point, all that, we copy claim everything. So in his process, they had to reactivate in 2005. They reactivated the 48-star flag, unbeknown to everybody in the world. So when David got word of them activating the 48-star flag, he went over to Geneva to attempt to copy claim the 48-star flag the same way he copy claimed the 50-star flag in 1999, for those who know. Because after he copy claimed in 1999, remember the Supreme Court came out and said what? There's no constitutional court. It's not a constitutional court. They did that in 99, for those who know. So you know what they did now. So you see all that fraud they got going on at the Supreme Court. So when David tried to attempt to copy claim the flag, the court, the head answered him the same day. He ain't never answered that quick. He filed that morning. He said he had an answer for noon. Courts don't answer that damn quick. You feel me? So, excuse me. Not me, picture. So, he called us. When he came back, he got summons to the Board of Governors. And they want to see what kind of damage they was in based on that $2.8 million lien that Moon had put on their book. And now they got a lien against, I got a lien against them now because they came with me with that false arrest. And you know, my security agreement ain't a joke. So now my lien was more than a Moon. So David said, he said, I just left out of the Board of Governors conference room, and he told us that a Moon had a seat and I got a seat with our names on plaque sitting in front of the desk on the big board of the table. And he said, you can hear a pin drop when you mention your name. Talking about me. So, you know, Moon, like, what happens when they mention my name? He said, well, the contract you got, they can readjust that contract, you know, that it was a judgment. He said, but Khufu is the only one that can lawfully, legally, and administratively operate that sovereign state y'all got. See? There wasn't nobody here talking about no sovereign state, what we had created. But David Miller and Tucker, because they understood the 10-year window and everything that was going on with that apostille that we got signed in, Colin Powell signed in 2004. You feel me? 11 March, February 2004. So they signed in a state. So that's apostille number 1. So now they got to deal with us just like they deal with Iran, the same way they deal with Israel, same way they deal with Russia, state to state. So but we foreign nationals in our own country. Where your state at? The whole United States is our state. It's on our land. They drew invisible lines, Georgia, South Carolina, California, Texas, all them invisible lines on your land. So now the true sovereign come out and claim all the land. So now you got to go deal with the states. Why? Because they're on your damn land. That's why when Albania came over here and found out about us, and they came with to get some clearness on this sovereign emperor, because the first time they heard it, Biden said what? Oh, we've been knowing about him since Obama years, remember? We don't mess with his government, and thank the Lord he don't do what? He don't mess with our government, which let you know why you are the best kept secret. Then they went to the UN and found out what? You head of state, you his majesty. So now they're just waiting on us to move your state. That's why we're coming out there with coming. So that that go all the way back to why you in the proclamation, Constitution, you got 2 seats already at the Board of Governors. So it ties right in because you also got a 20, almost 30, $40 billion lien against them, a true bill against them for the damages since 30 September 2003. They agreed to pay the sovereign $1 million a day, and they agreed to pay the corporation $900,000 a day. Oh no, they agreed to pay the sovereign $9 million a day. Sorry, excuse me, counsel. I'm not trying to look clean and safe. And they agreed to pay the corporation $900,000 a day. So I'm getting paid right now until they settle. They can't take me off the sheet. I'm always gonna be on the sheet. It won't be Khufu, we'd be Darius Todd Sampson. But they can't even take me off of the sheet at the post office. But they got debt they got to pay. That makes sense to you? I know I'm looking rough.
Yeah, makes sense, Emperor. Yeah, gratitude. Gratitude for explanation. Had another question.
All right, that help you out?
That helped me out. Thank you so much. Gratitude. Yeesh.
That should help everybody out, right? Because I ain't explained that way in a long time, right?
No.
Right.
It came clear.
All right, come on. What you got?
All right. Let's see. We have no more questions in the chat. So, all right. So can I do, we have a number of questions for the bio. I would like to
Oh,
do.
come on, let's run down them. So that way people understand what a bio means.
Okay.
And what it, so you can help grow people. Because we need assistants coming down the road. We you know how many officers, how many seats we got to fill. There ain't no way in hell y'all gonna fill all them seats. Some of y'all some of you were already wearing 2-3 hats. You feel me?
Right.
So, but we just ain't got the time to bring people and they start in kindergarten.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Right.
When you got all this information out here. So to help them understand how to write a question, how to formulate a question, okay? And so in the Definitive Core, y'all to elevate it up to that level so that you can get the questions, proper questions that dealing with your sovereign state. And then you get the proper answer and you get the explanation. So that way it leads to what? Factology. So you ain't living in that theology world no more. You're living in that factology world because everything you write and what you're doing and how you're traveling is dealing in facts. You feel me?
Right.
So come on, read them then.
All right. So the next question is, what does, quote, nunc pro tunc, end quote, mean in the context of his rule? Answer, quote, now for then, end quote, used to assert legal retroactivity of authority back to foundational dates, including 1836, and as far as ancient treaties like Utrecht, 1713. Explanation. Nunc pro tunc, quote unquote, Latin for now for then, is a legal doctrine used to retroactively assert authority to an earlier date. It is frequently cited in the decrees and notices of accession applying sovereignty from key foundational moments such as 2004, in parentheses, claim dash of dash the dash life, in parentheses, 2003, parentheses, Treaty of Bern / UPU, and back to ancient dates like 1836, 1713, Treaty of Utrecht.
Right. So when they say that, say 30 September 2003, because I won the case. And once I won the case, it retroacted back to the time they came with a false arrest. So that's when we was attached to the Treaty of Bern because the United States Postal Service lost their sovereignty to me. Because a sovereign can't step on another sovereign and lose. So by them being a sovereign entity, that's why they ain't got no plates on the car, even though they got the United States Postal Service is under the president, office of the president. Remember, that's the Postal Service. That's all cap Postal Service. Then you got the United States Post Office, which is sovereign. That's why you see Dejoy get out of there so quick when he said, well, he gonna bring in that that group that Elon them created. That those.
Right.
He said he was bringing those in. He was out the door within 72 hours.
Right.
Because they got records that those ain't never gonna see. You feel me? So because they go all the way back, remember the Postmaster General, Benjamin Franklin, is the one who created the office of the President of the United States.
From the Grand Vizier.
Don't believe me? Go check it out.
Right. So
now the post office lost their sovereignty based on the Universal Postal Union, okay, based on 1951 when they surrendered their authority over to the office of the President of the United States to give him the head boss at the UPU based on them being a world power. Okay? So the other part of sovereignty of the post office was in the post office, and then they able to create that post service. That's why they always in red. You feel me? Because it's a waste. It's a waste. You know, but a waste. They just waste. They just waste. I mean, they waste $2 billion a year at least. Just waste. So they always trying to increase stamps. Hell, they ain't doing control that damn waste. I mean, they throw away two+ billion a year in waste. I mean, you got managers out here who got posted credit cards, as long as they don't go 500, it don't even draw a flag. You feel me? So how many managers out there you think ain't paying their rent or their travel fees and their personal cars and gas and all that stuff because it ain't showing on the register?
Is
Unless
that
it's $500 or more. You feel me?
Is that monthly?
They might have cut it down now since they got busted when we came in. Remember, I told you they sent 2 of the managers down to a post office in Atlanta.
Right.
And got rid of a lot of managers, Southeast regional, all that. But so I know they changed the retirement for people who had cost the post office, lots of money, and then they retired. They changed all that up. So I don't know if they changed the allotment fee up, the fee that these managers have when they got their posted cars.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because they got a credit card. You're a manager, you get a credit card. And they charge everything. They ain't pay their rent on them damn cards, you feel me? So that's just waste. That's where you get that $2 billion in waste from. They still making 80, 100+ a year.
Right.
But they're using the postal credit card to pay every damn thing they do. Eat, gas, everything. See, that's total waste.
Right.
So that's that crooked system they got. That's why you seen that board in DC now attempting to bring it over to the House of Commerce, which ain't gonna do no better because it's waste. They're just a company of waste. You know what I'm saying? And it's been going so long, the newcomers come in, they want the benefits. You feel me?
Right.
But, but you coming out to the post office because you're a sovereign. So when I won a case against them, without any attorney, okay, they lost their sovereignty. So they automatically attached us to what? Universal Post Union.
Right.
Lifelong contract. Remember, I'm making $900,000 a day for the corporation, $9 million a day for the live being, the secure party, the sovereign. You feel me? So that's getting added up every day until they pay. They ain't gonna carry that bill to Congress. To the Commerce, because everybody in the world gonna know they got to pay that debt now. You feel me? See, so you saying how they gonna pay the debt? They broke. Well, we got ways to make them pay. We got ways to make them pay and turn it into credit on our behalf. You feel me?
Right.
But they ain't got no money to pay me no way, right?
Right. That's right.
You look at our dollar sign, we use 2 stripes. They still using 1, right?
Right. So
they got to pay us in real-time money or real-time loop. Feel me? They ain't got no real-time loop. You think they'll pay us in fiat money? We don't need that crap. What are they going to do with that fiat money? As the old man told me a long time ago, right? He said, what? They could just give you a purple card, black card, whatever, that's unlimited because they can never pay you what you're worth. And that's what we at now is y'all moving your state out. You feel? That makes sense?
Makes sense.
All right. I yield. That enough for you?
Does that answer that?
That was good. You asked me.
Right. All right. Moving on. All right. Next question. Why is the Treaty of Peace and Friendship critical to his credentials? Answer. It confirms historical diplomatic relations between the Moors and the U.S., providing lawful and legal recognition for sovereign status under international law. Explanation. This treaty, parentheses 1786/1836, formalizes recognition of the Moorish people by the U.S., establishing a historic diplomatic bond. It's invoked, I don't think that's written right. It's invoked to reinforce the emperor's international legal standing as sovereign and to validate that Moorish nationals are foreign to U.S. federal jurisdiction, a foundation of the NAMA sovereign status. I'm going to read it one more time. Question: why is the Treaty of Peace and Friendship critical to his credentials? Answer: it confirms historic diplomatic relations between the Moors, and the U.S., providing lawful and legal recognition for sovereign status under international law. Explanation: this treaty, parentheses 1786/1836, formalizes recognition of the Moorish people by the U.S., establishing a historic diplomatic bond. It's invoked to reinforce the emperor's international legal standing as sovereign and to validate that Moorish nationals are foreign to the U.S. federal jurisdiction, a foundation of the NAMA sovereign status. Any questions from YouTube? And I'm checking the chat now.
Quick comment.
Go ahead.
That just goes back to interregnum, right? Talk about the times of uncertainty, and when so he nut pro chunks, and he tells us that, yo, I'm able to pick up my predecessor's flag. You feel me?
Mhm.
All of that right there in that statement, right? All the way up to the point where we go, he goes, understand that you're foreign nationals in your own country, in your own land, right? That's what we are, foreign nationals. Why are you foreign nationals? Because you separated from the corporation, right? The whole planet is going through a time of decolonialization. Well, guess what? We're going through the same process ourselves as a state, right? We have separated from the colonializers, right? We separated from the de facto system, right? Why? Because we're the de jure. And that statement just picks up from a de jure point of view, if that makes sense, right? From a de jure point of view, moving forward, that's our status, right? Indigenous beings all the way through and through on this planet, de jure status, separated from the corporation, right? Separated from the colonial construct programming, able to write your own way, our story. I yield.
Right, gratitude. And like this question was asking, why is the Treaty of Peace and Friendship critical to his credentials? Is because on record, it shows that treaty was between Al-Marak, which was over here. And the only ones over here from genetic tracing, blood tracing, it was us. So it proves our validity for being over here as the indigenous of the Americas. So it's critical.
And just to piggyback off what you said, and it proves, right, that it was what over here? An emperor.
Right.
Right? Back to interregnum, right? Picking up that when you nut pro-tunk something, that interregnum status allows that transfer, as we would say, of power of the time of uncertainty. Why was there uncertainty? Because you got de facto powers ruling the land right now. Feel me? They call it a democracy. You see what I'm saying? And even on that side of the pendulum, what? You go back to the de jure side of that, going back through the post office, you feel me? Back to the emperor who lent the gold, which the Constitution equity is based in, a debt owed. You feel me? So it all ties in.
That's real.
All right, yeah, to finish up that question earlier, okay, so Dave Wynn Miller, he went over to Geneva to copy claim the 48 star flag, and he got a note, he got it back before high noon, and I didn't finish it a while ago. He said the order was that no man, white, black, Indian, yellow, green, purple, whichever name made you feel good, can copy claim the 48 star flag except the mirror dash more. Only one. Said because the United States owe a debt to the Moor or the mirror, okay? And until they pay that debt, they're not allowed into the international arena, which is the International Court of Jurisdiction or International Norms. So that's why you see the United States violating so many international norms. Why? Because they're not registered under the international. That's why you see Putnam and all them saying that they're the renegade corporate state, and they use that money. What was that? What was the name of that? What's the name of that? So John, what's the name of that they signed?
Brentwood.
What was it?
What, the Bretton Woods Agreement?
Brentwood Agreement.
Yeah, what's the name of it again?
The Bretton Woods Agreement.
Yeah, the Bretton Woods Agreement. There you go. I need to say Brentwood. No, the Bretton Woods Agreement, where the United States, the dollar became the currency of the world. Okay, so we're not under that jurisdiction, and so they established all that because you remember in the district courts of the United States, you got an international arena. Remember, because I created the state of Georgia to international court in Tennessee. At that arena, you got to know how to file it and how to do it. And I carried the state of Georgia there for what? The lottery case I won, because they refused to pay me because I'm not in the system. Because they took me completely out of the system. So I won the lottery. They said you can cash it out and you got international ID. So I gave my international ID and they still refused to pay me because they wanted me to pay taxes and they didn't understand about the contract that Georgia had created. And then they tried to come in court and try to say that the embassy had only one, and they realized they were more through that case. They realized that Cooper got his own damn sovereign state. See, so that's when you see me taking me international court right here in the United States, because they got a division. All chief judges of the district courts have to be schooled international law. You feel me? So they don't want to go to the international court at The Hague. Okay, so that's what it is. That made sense to you. So that's why David said when he went over there, they did what? They activated the 48 star flag, reactivated it, and because of the gold is under what? The flag. That's why you see on our paper up front, right there in front of you, you say what? 48 star flag is what? The flag of peace and what? Sovereign gold dash credit.
Right.
You see? So that help you out? That help everything out? Get it cleared up?
Yes.
Yes, it does. Anybody have any questions? I don't see any in the chat. Anything on YouTube?
No questions in YouTube.
Yes, it's clarity. All right. All right, gratitude, Emperor. We just did that next one on the peace and friendship. So I'm going to move on to the one after that. All right, we have, what global instruments were invoked for sovereign standing? Answer, apostille verifications, UPU Treaty, 1874, and the Charter of the United Nations are utilized to assert standing as a de jure sovereign recognized globally. Explanation. Apostille verifications, state and federal levels authenticate imperial declarations. Universal Postal Union Treaty, UPU, all cap, 1874, grants global recognition and mailing sovereignty. Charter of the United Nations is cited as part of international legal instruments acknowledging imperial diplomatic status. These collectively underpin de jure sovereignty, substantiating jurisdictional independence. All right, we'll read that one more time. What global instruments are invoked for sovereign standing? And remember, to the audience, this is referring to the bio. So in the bio, what global instruments were invoked for sovereign standing? Apostille verifications, UPU Treaty, 1874, and the Charter of the United Nations are utilized to assert standing as a de jure sovereign recognized globally. The explanation, sovereign verifications, and at state and federal levels, authenticate imperial declarations, which they did. Universal Postal Union Treaty, UPU, 1784, grants global recognition and mailing system, which is what the emperor just was talking about. Third was at 30 September 2003. And the Charter of the United Nations is cited as part of international legal instruments acknowledging imperial diplomatic status. These collectively underpin de jure sovereignty, substantiating jurisdictional independence. Double check that. Keep my little notes. Yep, so 30 September. All right. Next question. And this question is key because this is where we at right now. What is the role of the Imperial Royal Office? In parentheses, IRO-HEM. Answer. IRO-HEM executes the Emperor's decrees, ensuring the implementation of diplomatic, administrative, and spiritual governance on behalf of the Imperial and Imperial Crown. Explanation. The IRO-HEM, all cap, is the operational body that executes all imperial decrees from H.E.M. all cap, including spiritual, diplomatic, financial, administrative mandates, and administrative mandates. It enforces the royal constitution, engages international bodies, and protects imperial interests worldwide. And that's exactly where we are, where we're coming into right now, which is very exciting for me, because I'm watching it happen live in real time. Any questions on that?
You're part of the whole story. That's why I told you to write your own bio, right?
You did. You know what, Emperor? Is that you say that? My daughter, she was like, for Father's Day, she said, well, hey, I want to get you this. I had something else in mind. She saw, and it was a book it was an empty book, but it was a journal for dads where it had little prompts in there for you to write down your story and your legacy and this, that, and the third. And I said, yeah, well, I already started it because, I wanted something else, but it was like, I already started it. So, but if you want to send it, I didn't want to take it from her. If you want to send it, go ahead and send it to me, but you're right. And that for you to say that after she just sent that today, it's key. And that's a sign for me to make sure I go ahead and start putting everything together.
Yeah, because when they come to write the movie, we start making movies about my story. Well, you got to have characters within my story. And y'all done came in and fitted a lot of characters and have grown yourself, because you had to learn you had to adjust yourself and being a de facto citizen to a foreign national owned country. And it ain't easy as a lot of you thought it was, because you got to put the work in.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to, you don't know how deep you is, or you was attached to the church. You don't know how deep you was with, Islam or whichever road you traveled on. Mm-hmm. But when you gotta shut that down and give it back to them, it don't sit right with a lot of people, because they really want somebody to die for them, or they really feel like they got some spiritual being assisting them in their journey, not realizing that the only help they're gonna get to enter the damn arm. So they calling out fictitious entities, not realizing that they that entity themselves. They got to learn how to look at the mirror what a certain way. Mm-hmm. See, so because that's what y'all had to do, right?
Right.
So it's simple to say, oh, you close the book and just give it back to them. Oh yeah, I did that back in 2003, 202. You feel me? I thought I lost my mind. I ain't need nothing. Jesus ain't come and did nothing. I did all that myself. Their God came at me. I shut him down. They brought Jesus at me. I shut that nigga down. They brought Allah at me. I shut that nigga down. And then I come up to 28 January 2022, and I said, where these niggas at? And he said, what? They vacated their posts. when you showed up. And whatever you need, they already got you in your, when I moved the whole ocean. Remember I moved the whole ocean?
Yeah.
He said, whoever you is, you got everything you need to get to where you need to go. And that's where we at right now. You feel me?
Right.
So I thought I add that into you, right?
Gratitude.
All right.
All right. Anything from YouTube?
This just deal with the bio though. We ain't got down to the proclamation, policy, declaration of the world, right?
Nope, not yet. We got about maybe, let me see. We have 4 more, and then we'll be finished with these.
All right, come on, let's get going.
All right.
Maashawood, no question from YouTube.
Okay. Gratitude, Nanya.
I know you better come Malikum. Some damn Malikum. Come on.
All right. Next question from the Diplomatic Corps. How is ancestral memory positioned in the bio? How is ancestral memory positioned in the bio? Answer. It is an epistemological, which is the study of knowledge, and legal source of power framing governance as both a remembrance and reactivation of divine and inherited mandates. Explanation. Ancestral memory is recognized as both a legal and spiritual source of jurisdiction. The bio frames governance not just as political, but as an ancestral activation, a return to divine order through memory of the Olmec, Meirish, and Yamashi lineages. This positions knowledge as a living legacy, which I can understand how we have a living constitution.
That's right. Only one on land.
Right. And then think about this. The protective favorite term to us early on was remember, right? Because who came and taught us? Who's teaching us all these things? Even though they're supposed to assist us, we got to go in ourselves, know thyself, right? And remember, right, to be able to assist. You dig? So in terms of, what's being said, yeah, that makes sense. That's what we've been doing, right? We ain't got no choice in the matter. So, yeah.
It's facts. All right, next one. How does the bio use the term autochthonous? Answer. It refers to native-born sovereignty rooted in the land, not granted by colonial powers. It distinguishes nominationals from 14th Amendment U.S. citizens and U.S. citizenship. Glad I'm getting off that ship.
You might need to read that again, because you got a lot of so-called Moors out there thinking they not a United States citizen because they got some fake ass nationality out there on the market. But you talking to everybody who got a birth certificate. If you got a birth certificate in the United States, whatever state you from, even in Israel, because that's a state of the United States, whether you want to believe it or not, that's up to you. You are considered a what? A 14th Amendment citizen. That's why you heard them tell that board there in the White House now, saying there ain't nobody outside of that what? Law, because everybody's what? 14th Amendment citizens. Except for who? Nominationals, because they are foreign nationals in their own country, and they not under that jurisdiction. They eliminated that jurisdiction back in 2004 when Colin Powell said what? The United States is big enough, we can handle it, right?
Right. All right.
We don't really know what we're getting ourselves into here, but the United States is big enough, they can handle it, right?
Right.
All right. So why they scared the hell in there?
Can't.
They didn't know you were that damn big, right?
Right.
And when Obama came along and said, "What? Yo, dog."
United States is a cruise
ship, not speedboat. Everybody ran out there talking about Bush this, Bush that. Obama came in, says active state, and then they realized what active state was. You heard to get real quiet. You hear him say they got real quiet, didn't
they? Yep.
Then he came back in one of his speeches and said, what? It wasn't just a cruise ship. He said that ocean liner. Then he came out and said, shit, it's a damn aircraft carrier.
All of them, right?
He said, damn. They see, and they don't realize why. That's why I had to walk small with a big stick. See, they don't want you to be loud and get out there and try to save the world. No, that wasn't my job. My job was coming here to systematize a sovereign state and reclaim my sovereign seat, not just on Earth and the cosmic too. You feel me?
Right.
And that didn't manifest until I came through and did it. It wasn't no written plan that you had to follow. You created as we were going. And we still creating as we're going, right?
Right. Right. And me personally, I appreciate how you safeguarded it and didn't just let any and everybody in there like that. Whereas you got these other situations out here, these groups that just let anybody in there and they have no control over it. Where you were a true guardian with ancient valor at the gate, and you didn't just let anybody walk in. You didn't pass out all kind of IDs, and it just kept it where it's at to where it can function and operate properly like what we're doing now, and it's tight, and I like that. I appreciate that. So I'm gonna read that question again. How does the bio use the term quote autochthonous, end quote? Answer: it refers to native-born sovereignty rooted in the land, not granted by colonial powers. It distinguishes nominationals, small n, from 14th Amendment U.S. citizenship. Explanation, quote, autochthonous, end quote, signifies originating from the land itself, not by immigrant or colonial grant. The emperor's bio emphasized that Nama, national, small n, are indigenous and land-rooted, thus sovereign by nature, not under U.S. federal jurisdiction, nor 14th Amendment citizens.
That's got to be about the heaviest piece you done said today. Come on.
All right. I guess they'll let me know when there's something coming from the YouTube. Let me see. Nope. All right. We good.
Yeah, they sitting back scratching their head.
Right. All right.
Come on.
What is the role of the quote Great Seal, end quote, in his identity? Answer: it symbolizes authority, authenticity, and trust for all imperial and imperial correspondence, edicts, and credentials globally. Explanation: the Great Seal authenticates all imperial decrees, missions, edicts, and official identity. It represents sovereign authority, legal validity, and is internationally recognized through apostille certifications. It affirms the emperor's identity as a living state. Dang.
Yeah, he said that to us before. He told us that. Right? Living state, bro. You say your state wherever you at.
Wherever he is, walking, talking, living state.
Not just me. Every non-national get the carries our ID and our diplomacy. And you are a walking state. You are a living state. That's why I told you that these cats out here trying to attach themselves to us behind the scene and getting away with little stuff. Like I said before, they might have made 5,000, 3,000. I don't care. But now they got to come before our court because the United States is going to do what? They're either going to expel them to a foreign country and a prison system, or they're going to send them to our court because they can't be in America because they're done expatriated themselves from America. They claim they got nationalized on the Great Seal or Moore Science Temple or all the other organizations out here that claim they got a state or government or whatever they got, the organizations. Well, that's expatriated. And they ain't got no venue to do nothing. So when the United States, after they keep hurling up all these what they call migrants, they say, well, they coming after these so-called Moors. Watch what I'm telling you, because they can't afford for them to be for them to bring them or drag them into our court. because they had no venue here.
Mhm.
They lost before they even get there. So they still citizens of the United States. But they claim they got nationalized, now they expatriated, they ain't got nowhere to go. So where they go now? Straight to jail, right?
Right. Do not pass go.
Then peep the double entendre though, right? So on the flip side of that, the corporation is a dead state.
Yeah, state.
So now on this side, you are also in a what? Living state, because now you're thinking with the alive side of you, not the dead corpse. You can speak now. You feel me? So it's a double thing right there. You feel me? On that side, you're in a dead state, and then nothing you say doesn't matter. Like the protectors say all the time, what? There's no salvation at all, ever, ever, ever over there. Just no matter what you do, you can't get above that, right? The system is what it is. Dead. So now you're alive. You're in a living state. So I yield.
Yeah, they even gave you a dead God. Ain't nothing alive over there. The God did, the system did, the Constitution did. That's what we call them the what? The walking dead.
Walking Dead. Zombie land.
And that Walking Dead was filmed right here in Georgia. So that's just yep. All right, last question before we move on to the Imperial and Imperial Policy Declaration to the world. So, reader, get ready. How does this bio define diplomatic immunity? Answer. Immunity is embedded in the emperor's standing, his apostilled declarations, and his sovereign jurisdiction under treaty law, rendering him beyond conventional legal reach. Explanation. Immunity is grounded in treaty law, apostilled documentation, and sovereign status as emperor. Under principles akin to the Vienna Convention, H.E.M. all cap is beyond foreign or domestic prosecution, with jurisdiction sealed by recognized statehood, sovereignty, and universal diplomatic protection.
And that sums up that bio, right?
Sums up that bio. You ain't never seen one like that.
Ain't gonna never see none.
Right.
Can I make a quick comment?
Go
Come
ahead.
on.
Just in this conversation, it's so evident that the lack of right knowledge, wisdom, understanding can, and destroys the people, bro. Ladies, gentlemen, audience. You feel me? It's just because if think about everything we just said, majority of people don't know, don't want to know, that's on them. But if you knew better, as we used to say, right, you'd do better, but you don't know. You don't know the law. You don't know how the country really works. You feel me? And you wasted a lot of time waiting for somebody to come save you. You feel? So it's just evident in this conversation, lack of knowledge really does destroy.
That's facts. All right, so that sums up our questions that the diplomatic corps has put together on the royal bio for now. And I would like to yield the floor to the readers of the Imperial and Imperial, or the reader, correction, of the Imperial and Imperial Policy Declaration to the world.
For this call, since we already read the flags and the banner up top, we can skip that on this and just go straight to the policy declaration, Imperial Policy Declaration to the world. If they want the top part, they can go back to the beginning. If they want to read it, they can go read it. It's updated a little bit up there, just really effective, took the date out. So still the same thing. I don't think I added anything extra yet. So Once I update that, we might have a call down the road, but I don't think we're gonna have too many more calls because y'all ready to go run your state, so we ain't gonna be able to be having too many calls. So enjoy this one, right? So come on, let's get going.
Your mic is muted if you're speaking by Nancy.
My bad. The Imperial Royal Office for His-Imperial Majesty presents the Imperial and Imperial Policy Declaration to the World, issued by, His Imperial Majesty, in parentheses, H.M.E.M. all caps, Emperor, space, Samhu, Sampson, Ray, / Samhu Amini Ray, quote, Adeloyi, end quote, in his lawful status, as, the Mer-More Sovereign Crown, all caps, Prince, ipso facto, ipso jure, Jew in repropria, interregnum, Jew and eius gladi, Jew and eius hereditatis, Jew and eius honorum, Jew and eius imperi, Jew and eius majestatis, for the Imperial Royal House of Tunica-Thunderfire, Imperial Royal House of Sampson L-Samhuray, Imperial Royal House for His-Imperial Majesty, in parentheses, ROHEM, all caps, and Imperial CMYE-IRK Republic for the country of United States, small s, in parentheses, ECMYE-IRKR, all caps, Droid. Date 22 April 2025. Imperial file number IMYRS, all caps, -04222025 / ENIPDW, all caps, -0002. Quote, the flame has returned, end quote. Imperial and Imperial Declaration to the World, in parentheses, ENIPDW, in all caps. To all governments, heads of state, indigenous nations, diplomatic corps, United Nations, institutions, civil societies, and sacred peoples of the earth, we, the Imperial and Imperial Royal Crown, all caps, of the ECMYE-IRKR, do hereby declare, that the ancient autonomous autochthon government of Amexem, in parentheses, the oldest independent autonomous autochthon kingdom / nation on earth, close parentheses. Henceforth, the ECMYE-IRKR, all caps, ancient land of Al-Marak / Morocco, and the Washistaw-Turner de Dagdamanya, encompassing the autochthon Yamashi, in parentheses, Yamashi, close parentheses, Washita, in parentheses, Washita, all Al-Marak / Al-Moroccan, Moorish - Moorish, Black - A - Mers, Black - A - Moors, Olmec and Aboriginal natives of the territorial sovereign soil of the West, South, East, and North has returned to active diplomatic and governmental status, unified under the administrative, lawful, legal, spiritual, and supreme small s authority of Emperor's Directive -0004, capital Z, lowercase a, / Imperial Constitution for the Imperial Royal Kingdom, in parentheses, ECMYE-IRK, all caps, via Emperor's Directive -0004, capital Z, effective date 3 April 2013, / Imperial Constitution of the Continental Moorish Yamachi Empire, in parentheses, ICCMYE, all caps, and Imperial and Imperial Royal Succession Decrees of 2003-2025, that the ECMYE-IRKR, all caps, is founded on principles of sovereign, absolute monarchy, imperial and imperial constitutional monarchy, and executive monarchy, which represents a modern sovereign country / state committed to advancing diplomatic relations based on mutual respect and international cooperation. That H.E.M, all caps, Emperor for the IROHEM, and ECMYE-IRKR upholds its ancient lineage and culture heritage while actively engaging in global diplomacy and economic partnerships. Our autonomous / sovereignty is lawful, ; first bullet. Our sovereignty is sacred by divine law, ancestral inheritance, and treaty validation, and is recorded under imperial and imperial - notices of accession, official documents, national filings, and apostille - recognized agreements, droit - droit, exclamation point. Next bullet, we non-nationals or foreign nationals within our own land distinguished from U.S, all caps, citizens of / citizens, small c, by spiritual, political, and ancestral jurisdiction, droit - droit, exclamation point. Next bullet, H, all caps, H.E.M. Emperor, holds a constructive agreement / contract - claim via apostille numbers, 04010010, 04010010-1, in parentheses, U.S, all caps, Department of State, and a constructive agreement / contract - claim via the state of Georgia, receipt number, 5604, capital B, in parentheses, Georgia's Secretary of State, close parentheses, droit, exclamation point. Next bullet, all caps, H.E.M. Emperor, holds a constructive agreement / contract - claim via civil case number, all caps, 04 CR, in caps, 1037-10, Superior Court of DeKalb County, Georgia, USA, in all caps, and file number, AMRE 04092009, RA in all caps 596640465 US all caps. Effective date 9 April 2009. True bill for injury party against the United States Postal Service / United States Post Office. Effective date 30 September 2003. Quote, nunc pro tunc to 26 July 1775. End quote. Droit dash droit, exclamation point. Next bullet in all caps, H.E.M. Emperor holds a constructive agreement / contract - claim via the League of Nations, quote, dated _ 28 June 1919, effective date 10 January 1920, and dissolved on 18 April 1946, end quote. Per the Law of Nations / Gentinum in parentheses 208-1992, close parentheses, and Family of Nations in parentheses 215-1993 / Art 1 subsection 8 clause 10, effective date 4 March 2004, quote, retroactive to 26 June 1945, effective date 24 October 1945, end quote. Droit dash droit, exclamation point. Next bullet, all caps, H.E.M. Emperor holds a constructive agreement / contract - claim via the General United States of America / Republican form of government in parentheses Art 4 subsection 4 5 U.S.C. subsection 1501 in parentheses 1 known _ as the United States of America in parentheses major pursuant to _ the President of the General National United States Government in parentheses Art 2 subsection 3 and the laws of the United States / Bill of Rights 1 through 7, effective date 4 March 2004, quote, retroactive to 4 March 1789 to 18 July 1787 / Treaty of Peace and Friendship with the Emperor of Al-Marak / Morocco - 23 June 1786, end quote. Droit dash droit, exclamation point. Next bullet, in all caps, H.E.M. Emperor holds a constructive agreement / contract - claim via the Constitution for _ the United States of America, effective date 4 March 2004, quote, nunc pro tunc to 17 September 1787, end quote, per Article 1, Section 10, Article 2, Section 4, Article 3, Article 4, Section 1 and Section 4, Article 6, and Article 7. Droit dash droit, exclamation point. Next bullet, in all caps, H.E.M. Emperor holds a constructive agreement / contract - claim via the UN, all caps, - Convention de la Haye, effective date 4 March 2004 / Apostille Authority, including _ privileges and immunities of mission of non-party to Vienna Convention, quote, nunc pro tunc to 5 October 1961, end quote, per the full faith and credit underscore from Georgia, USA, all caps, and U.S. all caps, State Department. Also, the aegis of the Treaty of Berne, dated underscore 17 May 1874. Effective date 1 July 1875, and Constitution of the Universal Postal Union, in parentheses, UPU.